Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 3 tips to perfect pricing. If you are a coach like Thad and I, or you are a service provider, you've probably wondered, how do I price things, right? How do I price my services? I know that's a question that I get all of the time. So tonight we want to just give you 3 quick tips to perfect pricing so that you can sell. Because if you're too high, nobody will buy. And if you're too low, nobody will see the value. So we're going to be pretty quick tonight, so take notes and let's get started. So the number one tip to perfecting your perfect pricing is industry comps. Now, what does that mean? Industry comparables.
Right, so you're doing some research and you're finding out what other people that do the same thing you are doing, how much they're charging for their services.
Right, so if you're a coach, you're going to go look at other coaches in your area. You're not going to go, if you're in New York, you're not going to go look at coaches in Sweden. Or if you're...
Well, actually, for this part, I think you could go worldwide. You're really just trying to get a benchmark of what the industry is.
Right, but you really need to know your market, which is number 3, but we won't talk about that yet.
We're getting to that.
Yeah, so do some industry comparables. Find out what other coaches who do the same thing as you in your area. Look at different things, comparables. They have the same niche as you. They might be in the same area as you, or they've been in business as long as you. They're either brand new or they've been, seasoned, whatever it is. But look at some industry comparables.
Yeah, the other things you're looking for there are their skill set. So their experience, experience goes a long way in pricing your product, because you're not going to price it the same way on day one as you are 10 years into your business.
That's right. And if you do, then you're probably not going to be in business for 10 years.
Right.
Just saying.
Exactly.
So that's number 1. Number 2, by the way, we're at the mall and we're Christmas shopping and we're taking a break to do this. So number 2, and this is my most important thing. Charge what you're comfortable with, not your worth.
Right.
Now you're going to hear, if you're a coach, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, but this is very popular to say in the coaching industry. Charge your worth. Show up for your worth. That's bullcrap. You can't charge your worth. You know what I think you're worth? I think you're worth $1 billion zillion dollars.
You're priceless. I mean, each one of us is priceless. So.
Exactly, and you can't charge priceless for coaching.
Exactly.
Or anything, right? Even priceless paintings go for an amount.
Right.
Right? Charge what you're comfortable with. Now, if you're a coach and you're reading lots of coaching books, they're telling you charge $10,000 a month, $20,000. Tony Robbins gets $1 million a year per client. Number 1, you're not Tony Robbins. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Not to Heather Paris, not to Tony Robbins, not to anybody. That's number 1. Number 2, if you're not comfortable saying, I charge $10,000 a month, then don't say it. Don't try to be comfortable with something that you're not, because you're not going to sell it. It will not work.
And your clients can read that. They can read that easier than they could read a book. If they can tell that you're uncomfortable telling them the price, then they're going to be uncomfortable paying that price.
That's right. So charge what you're comfortable with, not what you think you're worth, because you're priceless. You can't get what you're worth. If you're charging, you just can't do that.
Right.
So that's number 2. So number 3 in finding the perfect pricing for your service-based career is, number 3, know what your market will bear. So this means, like, for example, I live in Port Byron, New York. It's an extremely rural town. There's hundreds of people that live in our town, not thousands, hundreds. Yeah. And the majority of the population in town live below the poverty level. In my town, I could not charge thousands of dollars for coaching because my market would not bear that.
Right.
However, if I lived in New York City as opposed to upstate New York, I would definitely be able to charge more.
Yeah, so a good example of that is real estate. So if I were to buy a 1,000 square foot house in rural upstate New York versus Southern California, the same square footage is going to be a completely different price. And so that's really understanding what the market will bear in your area. So you've got to you've got to do some research there and figure out what that threshold is for you.
And that's where what you came in is true, because not just in your area, but wherever the area is that you're targeting. So if you're working, you might live in an area like us in a very rural country town.
Right.
But if all of your clients are in New York City, then you're going to charge something different because your market is New York City. It's not the town that you live in.
Right.
Now, I tend to work a lot with locals because I'm trying to make a huge impact in my local community, although I do have worldwide clients too. But when I'm dealing with my local community, I charge what the market's going to bear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, so you can take advantage of that too. So if your service or industry is not location specific, you can branch out and
Right.
reach out to those clients somewhere else, and that actually gives you some freedom, because once you're doing that, you can actually have a lower overhead for your business and still be impacting people with your service or product.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's the good thing about being a coach versus being a massage therapist or a chiropractor. We don't need a brick and mortar to operate. We just need our computer, and we can just do it right from the mall.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys can hear us. Hopefully the audio is okay. I don't know, but we'll see,
We'll
right?
find out.
If not, we'll just do it all over again. That's the luxury of having your own business.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. So I hope that those tips are helpful. Let's just review them again real quick, shall we?
Yeah.
So 3 tips to perfect pricing is: number 1, industry comps. What are other coaches, or whatever your profession is, what are other people in that same profession charging to give you a baseline? Number 2, charge your comfort, not your worth. Right. Okay? You cannot charge your worth because you're priceless. And frankly, you shouldn't be putting a worth on, a price on yourself anyway.
Sure.
You're charging for your services, not for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then number 3, know what your market will bear. And that's the market that you're working in. So if you're working in your local market, then find out what your market's going to bear. And you can look at the real estate.
Yeah,
Just look at the real
benchmark.
estate. And yeah, I know, like, for example, our house, because we live in a rural community, we have this amazing, beautiful, huge house on 10 acres on the water. But if it was in Southern California,
yeah, we'd be looking at millions, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't live there probably.
Nice.
Yeah, so know what your market will bear. So those are the 3 tips. I am Heather Paris of liveinspirednow.com. This is my fabulous husband, Thad Paris, and we are here for your success, and we would love if you reached out to us on Facebook or through the website, liveinspirednow.com. We're always here for you, for your questions, and to help you and to coach you. Right?
Yeah,
what else do we add?
That's it.
That's
short
it.
and sweet tonight.
Yeah, so if you are one of my coach training students and you are starting your own practice soon or working on it now, then I expect that you will be doing some research and asking other coaches, including myself, what they charge for their services as part of your research. So hope you guys have a great night. We are going back to our role as Santa and Mrs. Claus to get some shopping done. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.